Do you know the exact legal difference between the land you own and the everyday items inside your house? Well, today we're going to be exploring real versus personal property to help you ace your CILEX course. Let's dive in.
In the eyes of the law, not all property is created equal. Historically, land was considered to be so important that the courts developed special rules to protect it, and these rules didn't apply to other types of property. And that's where the division between real property, or realty, and personal property, personalty, began. So today, land is treated differently from, say, a car, a mobile phone, or even your grand's priceless teapot collection. Let's have a look in a bit more detail. So real property, or realty, refers to land that you own. Realty in particular refers to freehold land. So that's the land that we talked about earlier, meaning the land that you own outright and you own forever. Going back to historically, if someone took your land or dispossessed you, you could bring what's called an action in rem. That means an action about the thing itself. Rem is Latin for thing. The idea of this is that you get the actual land returned to you, not just compensation. If someone takes your land, they can't really take it anywhere. They can't break it, they can't destroy it, so it's always possible to have it back. And this is a big deal because for lots of other types of property, returning it isn't really an option. So that brings us to personalty, which is basically everything else. Personalty includes all other property that isn't freehold land, so yes, that includes leasehold land too. And it also includes anything movable or even intangible. If someone takes or damages your personal property, you can't always get it back again, and you definitely can't always get it back in the state it was when you had it. So in these instances, you can bring an action in personam. This is an action against the person. The aim of this is to get damages and compensation, so money, instead of the object itself. So the important thing to remember here is action in rem is for real property. This gets you back the land itself. Action in personam is damages against the person that took it. You may also see personal property referred to as chattels. Chattels is just a fancy legal word for personalty. And chattels come in two types. Chattels real, this is our leasehold land, and chattels personal, which is everything else. Although we find leasehold land here under personalty, thankfully the law has changed so that if you are dispossessed from leasehold land, there are ways to get your land back, not only compensation. So a quick recap on chattels real, and then we'll go into chattels personal in a bit more detail. Chattels real is that leasehold land historically couldn't be recovered and you could only get damages for, which is why it's considered different to realty and freehold land. However, today rights are better protected and that is no longer the case, thankfully. Chattels personal then falls into two different categories or subcategories. Choses in possession are the tangible physical things. A general rule for this is if you can pick it up and throw it across the room, although maybe don't, it's probably a chose in possession. Please don't try that with a car. Choses in action, however, are your intangible rights. We've talked a little bit about intangible rights earlier when we talked about rights of way. However, choses in action aren't just about land. They could be anything. They could be a debt that someone owes you or a share in a company. These things can generally only be claimed through legal action, but they're still valuable. The distinction here matters because different rules can apply to realty and personalty under succession law. So understanding which is which can be really helpful if you go into work in this area. Now we've just covered a lot of new terms, so let's just see a quick recap of what they mean. I'm going to leave this summary table up for you to just flick your eyes over and remind yourself of some of these key terms.
I hope you really enjoyed that video. That's just a short clip from our CILEX Foundation courses. If you are a CILEX Foundation student, you can follow the link in our description to sign up for a free F4 mock by just setting up a free Personalty account. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.